Probably a bit of an underrated song on Billboard's Hot 100 of June 12, 1976. Let me bring that up for you real quick on a Lost 45 by a group called the Steve Gibbons Band. Johnny Cool at number 77, jump 11 from 88 the week before. It will peak at number 72 on Billboard's Hot 100. It was on Billboard's Hot 100 for a month. That is Johnny Cool by the Steve Gibbons Band. Steve Gibbons Band, they got that southern flavor sound. They're reminiscent of Little Feat, Leonard Skinner, maybe shades, just a lighter shade, a very light shade of CC Top. But the Steve Gibbons Band, led by Steve Gibbons, they're from England. From Great Britain, Steve Gibbons played in his first band. He was a plumber's apprentice. In 1960, when he joined a group called the Dominettes, he sang lead with the Dominettes. He was a big Elvis fan. But in the early 60s, they were incorporating R&B into their sets. They played these seedy nightclubs, but they developed a reputation. And by 1963, they called themselves the Uglies. And the Uglies, they signed a deal with Pie Records, the distinguished Pie Records that later signed the Foundations later on. And in 1965, they recorded a record called Wake Up My Mind. It was a socially conscious record. Didn't do anything in England, but went to number 14 in Australia. For the next couple of years, they released they released some singles in England that didn't do much of anything. And by 1969, Gibbons, he joined another group. It's called Ball, or yeah, just called the Ball, or just Ball is what it was called, Ball. Guess who else was in that band? Ball. Danny Lane of the Moody Blues, guitarist of the Moody Blues. He was in Moody Blues when they did Go Now. He might have sang the lead vocals of Go Now, but don't quote me on that. Later on, Danny Lane would become a big member of Paul McCartney's group Wings in the 70s. But this was a short-lived band, Ball was, and Gibbons left the band in 1971. He moved from London back up to Birmingham, England, and he joined another band called the Idle Race. That evolved into the Steve Gibbons Band. Started playing gigs, started playing the pubs. They were spotted by a guy named Peter Meaden. It's M-E-A-D-E or D-A-N, Peter Meaden, who was first manager of The Who. He was a former manager of The Who when he discovered the Steve Gibbons Band, and as a matter of fact, he got them hooked up with The Who's management. And they became part of the stable of groups that was under The Who's management, and got a deal with Polydor Records. Came up with the album Any Road Up, which was produced by Peter Meaden, and that featured a song Johnny Cool featured the song Johnny Cool. Guess it was their only American entry. It's a shame. Sort of an underrated song. I'm thinking, well, I've already mentioned the groups that they remind me of, but another group they kind of remind me of a little bit, the Atlanta Rhythm Section. Johnny Cool on Billboard's Hot 100, June 12, 1976, coming in at number 77.